careful. They couldn't kick us out of prison with no empathy for human. I came out here. I'm in a relationship, thank God, to the woman sitting there.
Amen.
How do you put an animal in a cage and let him out after all those years and expect him to communicate?
Say that part.
In the cognitive manner.
That part.
When I say in the cognitive manner, I mean in the manner for which he can conduct and construct himself as a man.
Come on now.
In today's society. How can we do that?
Right.
Outside of that, we're going against every stigma that you can actually think of. Black and Latinos. And we coming up out of that, every stigma faces, yeah, we know what y'all want to do, but at the end of the day, man, that ain't nothing, because my trauma exceeds yours. No. Where's the empathy for another man?
Say that. Come on.
When it comes to guys like us, it screws us.
That part.
But you can leave here today, man, and put a bowl of food in front of your dog because you care about him more than the empathy of our stories.
Glory.
The empathy of our stories is what we need to get to, because behind that lies the trauma.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The trauma of all our children, the trauma of my mother. When I came home after 26 years and 9 months, my mother couldn't talk.
My Lord.
She had lost her, she had 3 massive strokes.
My God.
Fighting.
Her name daddy around.
Come on now.
How, man? How? So yes, outside of the trauma that we've endured, how can we get back at the police? How can we get back at the police and not have bitterness in our heart? Yes, we are better men. I apologize, but how can we get back?
Hold them accountable.
Hold them accountable.
Hold them accountable.
But I want y'all to pay attention to this. Every last one of our crimes is on TV for 5 to 6 days straight.
Come on.
How long they had us on TV for our exoneration certificate?
Every minute. One day. 60 seconds.
It doesn't fit, man. It doesn't fit. The same jury that you said was my peers was the ones you influenced with your things that you had on TV about us.
Come on.
The same thing, if you look at all of our responses, you go on YouTube and you see our responses to the public. You see how the public dogged us. Come on. In regards to what we're saying, so again, thank you guys, man. I'm going to you out the trauma and everything it entails, man. It goes down on down to my children, man.
As we move to the last question, I think, what you're about to ask when it comes to the law, we're going to reduce the time to what minutes each, just because I'm going to start the next section. But basically, we want to talk about trauma and action. How do we turn it into action? How do we win? You know, we are here because we want to take action and we want to win. We want to free our loved ones. And we want to change this so that nobody ever has to go through this again. Ain't that right? Is that what we hear? The final question to me, I've heard a couple of things from Black Environment Solidarity to the governor's office to the state attorney, all those things. Grab what you want, but let's talk about how do we win. What are the pressure points, the targets that we are moving and focus on our ways to before. And take it away.
Yeah, you know, there's misery. You can dwell on misery. Trauma, misery, suffering. All oppressed people go through that. That's part of our daily lives. We all have gone through pain and suffering. But you know, we're not responsible for all of the pain and suffering that we go through. We're not responsible. What are we responsible for? We are responsible for our liberation.
That's right. That part.
We're responsible for fighting back. We're responsible for them not getting away with this. That's what we're responsible for. So always talk to me about the pain and the misery, because I done had that too. And so have several million other people. People dying right now. From bombs and being set on fire in Palestine. Little babies dying every 18 minutes. So if you don't ever get to the revolutionary side of misery, you don't ever get to the solution.
That's it, that part
If
right
you don't ever get to the revolutionary side of misery, you don't ever get to the solution. You're stuck. You're stuck in pain. What we are here to do for you today is to make sure that you get unstuck. You don't need to be stuck in no pain.
That's
You
it.
need to join this movement. You need to do the things that we're going to ask you to do to make a change. You all need to become freedom fighters.
That's it.
Because
That
see,
part.
that's the only way out of slavery.
Yes.
Huh? You know why Harriet Tubman wasn't no slave? Because she was a runaway slave.
That part,
Yeah,
Frank.
you know, I learned this when I was in the joint. When I learned how to stand up and fight, I'm gonna get it right here. When I learned how to stand up and fight along with my other fellow prisoners, we said to each other, they can't hold us in bondage no more. Because now we in defiance. Now we fight. That's what the freedom slaves got. Now we fight. Somebody said, well, what if they kill us? What if they kill us? All they got is our dead body. They don't have our obedience. We gotta stand up and fight if you want to get what you need to get. Ain't nobody gonna give it to you. You don't even know what I'm saying. Fight back.
I wanted to, say that how you address it is it's a simple, like, it's been a cultural, shift, right? And the cultural shift is this. I've never said Black Lives Matter. And the reason I've never said Black Lives Matter, because I come from a culture that say power to the people.
Oh,
Let me explain this to you, though. How do we come from Black Lives Matter? I mean, how do we come from power to the people
To
to
Black.
Black Lives Matter?
Come on here.
I'm asking a question as opposed to making a statement. When I say power to the people, I'm making a statement.
That's right. Power to the people.
I'm asking a question when I say Black Lives Matter.
Yes.
You understand me?
Uh-huh.
That's a cultural difference.
Yes.
That's how you change.
Yes.
You let people understand the cultural difference, and you connect them back to the difference.
Yes.
That's how you connect.
On that is, first and foremost, once we leave this room, once it's all over with, we go back to this place. I just hope everything just continues to get our marriage hard. For real. Some people, nobody in here, but 10 that go leave this place and just go back to their regular lives, you know what I mean?
Yep.
This is a struggle.
Tell the truth.
A
This
real,
is a struggle
real struggle.
every day. We need to join these organizations, because I'm a living witness that court support in these organizations. If they use them to amend. That's how we make our change. Stick together. Simple. Say it again. Get outside yourself. For real. Like, that's the only way out there we're gonna make a change.
That's
If we
it.
continue to pound at the door. Sticking together. You know what I mean? Open up conversations, dialogue with the public officials that want to be dialogue with.
Yes.
I think that's the only way.
Ain't that-
Part of a great organization called Ladies Family Services. They had me go into the juvenile correction center twice a week and teach a program I created called Trust, Teens Receiving Understanding, Support, and Transformation. So they graduate their class, you couldn't get the graduation, but we took a young man from the juvenile detention center, well, not the juvenile detention center, the IYC wing is here in town. He was in jail for like 3 or 4 years. We took him out. He was out of a month. We married him to Illinois State College. We trying to get our youth something different. That is taking them out but what they know is showing something different. That's the only way we can do this. I usually need to understand that we don't love each other. They don't care about loving us or loving each other because we show them we don't love each other. We can't even talk to each other. Every time you look on Facebook, social media, it's somebody hurting each other instead of helping the person you feel me.
Yes, yes.
That's, come on. You show them right there how much we divided. We would rather pick up a phone first and put a hand out to help you.
Yes. Come on.
We have to look each other in the face and realize we all we got.
That's it.
Every day our kids die and get incarcerated because they understand that we don't care. If we don't care about each other, we don't give a damn about them. I hear these stories all the time. I tried to mentor my man, he told me, I don't care, my mama don't care, I don't care.
Wow. Gotta show some love for these.
So, community togetherness is what's real. I didn't come out of the prison by myself. Somebody helped me.
Believe that.
I give all praise to the Most High. But the Most High blessed somebody on this earth to help me. Everybody that got out of the situation is out of the situation because somebody helped them.
Come on.
The only reason why everybody's out of the situation because somebody helped them. And that's what these organizations do. We have so many organizations out here. We just need to get out there and give them a chance. Don't turn them away. They really out here to help you. And if you don't trust them, look at this counter. If any one of us you can contact me. Find a way to contact us. You can catch me at Saving Our Urban Leaders. Holler at me, and if I can help you, I will. And if I can't help you, we got Jazz and Frank, we got all these brothers up here, and we got all of you. So let's do it.
Do it. Do it. Let's continue to do it.
Brother brought up trauma. You can compare this trauma to Willie Lynch, just not as drastic and as torturous as Willie Lynch, but psychologically it's the same. The brother brought up how they passed it down. What we have learned is that we was in a situation where we had to tell our mind that we couldn't go further than this stage every day, every night. There was no waking up, going to no refrigerator, looking out no window, seeing no sun, seeing the sun set at night. The only way you see the sun set or see the sun rise in prison is if you were going on a rig. Come on. You had to be going to court at 4 in the morning to see anything. So in each one of the men that have been incarcerated a long time, I know that there's a dark beast inside of them.
You know it.
That they keep caged up all the time.
You know it.
For all of the people that died while they was in prison, they fought themselves. For each time that one of their children was defiant, they fought themselves. But every time one of their family members or somebody got married, or had a birthday, or graduated, or anything of that nature, the only thing you did was fought yourself because you wasn't there. I can't even begin to explain the trauma. But the only thing that I can say as a Muslim is that if it wasn't for the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there is no telling who I would be right now to this day. That is the only thing that helped me. Worshiping God. Knowing that there was something bigger than this entire thing that was victimizing me, that I could hope that would save me. The trauma ain't gonna never go away. I would bet my life that each one of these men have been driving down the expressway and wanted to bust out crying. They were so happy that they was free. Each time they went to that courthouse on the court support and for any reason, and they seen people coming from that back, they relived that entire ordeal. And every time they may have thought they was going to get pulled over by a police officer, or they see it on Facebook or Messenger or TikTok or whatever they put that stuff on, they can totally 100% relate, and they happy to see people stand up for their rights, and they refuse to be tricked by somebody trying to manipulate them into getting arrested. The trauma is every day. You can't communicate with people. You talk loud because you have stuff stuck in your ears all the time. The people that you're talking to thinking that you hollering at them. You abrasive because you've been talking to men for 30 and 20 and 15 years. It's a behavior that's not easy to break. It's not something that you recognize at all. The mask on your face that you can't see a mirror and see how you're looking at another person. Your inability to concentrate around different things. Adapting to this rapid, fast-growing world of technology that take you so long to get up on one thing, and by the time you get up on one phone, they got 4 or 5 other phones. One of my major struggles, in addition to waking up every day being happy that I'm free and not wanting to never see prison again, is technology. I did not grow up in technology. We have beepers and brick phones now. So that is one of the things that hurt me the most. Trying to navigate, fill out something. You can't talk to a human being on the phone no more. Everything you do is through some type of automated system.
Yes.
Which relates you back to the same system that you had to use to call somebody else a son.
Yeah.
So I don't think the trauma will ever go away. And I don't really think it can be explained because the dark stories ain't came out. Only thing I can say is that if it wasn't for the grace of God and me attempting to change the conditions of my heart and him changing my conditions, then I would probably be a madman right now.
Yes, yes.
All of our trauma is different, and what we experience, and of course, our incarceration is different. We're all going to feel some type of way when it comes to certain things. Some of us may react aggressively, some react differently, but none of us is put together. There's no way possible for you to remove someone from what we call the outside world, take them to prison, let them out and expect a man to conduct himself as a man of society, what it takes to raise, rule, and make us the mother, the grandmother, the family. It takes a lot to make a man a man. Understand? You can't drop me with another group of men and expect me to be like the same man.
Yeah.
So a 42-year-old man who served 25 years will never be like the 42-year-old man who's never been incarcerated.
Exactly.
You understand? So we're gonna move different, do things different, you know, but we'll always find ourselves being judged because people don't understand the incarcerated man.
Amen.
You know, so our trauma is something that we deal with, but we fight it and deal with it so strongly because you can find yourself doing the wrong thing to the right people. People you love can catch that you should be able to a police in 1997.
Yeah.
You understand
Talk
that
about
stuff you carry, that you hold on, you try to move through slowly so you don't interrupt or, you know, mess up what's out here. I tell guys all the time, sorry, this shit real touching. I tell guys all the time that this isn't our world because it isn't. You know, we don't know how to do it. We don't. 25, 27, 29, 30 years of incarceration tends to shape emotions a little bit different than out here. When we ask for it, we work with it. Take time for us, like Rose said, be patient and let us figure it out. Because if you don't, you can disrupt something and create a monster.
Come on now, talk about it.
Everybody
Tell it.
ain't none of us. We got guys out here who come out, who came home but still gone.
Yeah.
These are the guys that people make fun of who end up, damn, bro, killed 10 people. He killed 30 people. People wonder why. He killed 30 people because no one took the time to be patient with him to let him work through his trouble.
Yeah.
That's trauma.
what these people have broken.
Come on now.
Understand that you can't put people in jail as kids and let them out as adults and expect them to figure it out. You can't. It's a process that can only help and work with the people out here who care enough to help and work with us. You understand that? It'll never really be fixed, and we'll never be okay. But we'll be strong enough to tell you that we're okay. And we'll tell you if acts like, I tell people all the time, I'm fucked up. Nobody will go to jail as a kid and come back as an adult and not be fucked up. I also warn people that, hey, if you run across somebody that did a lot of time, they say, God, get the fuck away from me. Because that lies your most dangerous man, the one who says he's okay. When you can't be okay if you've been removed from this and dropped from this. Trauma has so many different dimensions, and what it is to all of us is so many different things. Family trauma, real trauma, jail trauma, being bullied, racism, all of it. There's so much in the box that comes with what we all have experienced. Only thing that I'm asking from the people out here is, if they say steel sharpens steel, which it truly does, it's gonna take everybody to come together and fix what's going on with this system. We out here, which is cool, but there's so many people who are on the inside that still fighting. And people make it like we come home, and since we came home, then whoo, I'm glad no. I still want to grow them who was on the cell with me that I helped do post-conviction and fit with to come home too. Because you're not supposed to leave that here, let's get it out of there.
Free them all.
All right, y'all, give it up.
Free them all. Hold on, brother.
Like Frank said, join the movement. There's several organizations in this room. We are in the Chicago Alliance. We have a system being dedicated exclusively to fight to get people out, wrongfully convicted, torture survivors. Join the movement. And as I said earlier, if you take that fight. Now, I'm going to do my sister, bring on our next panel of the team.
The event is not over, so everyone please take a seat.
Hey, what's happening? What's happening? What's happening, my brother?
Our next session. I'm going to call the next session.
You good? Yes, sir. Hey, how my brother?
Last week, so they got his paper.
They got his
paperwork. We're going to send him to West Side this week or next week.
Yes, sir. Survivor in attorney.
I'm gonna call you, please.
Yes, I'm good. Thank you, brother. Yes. Yes. Oh, man.
We got to push it. Still going on. We're going to our next panel. I understand a lot of people haven't seen each other for a long time. Sit next to your friends.
It's going to be turn people after the panel, you all. If y'all pay attention to the agenda, we running a little behind and over schedule. So everyone can have a seat. That will be great.
Thank you, Norma, Frank, Mark, everybody. Let's look at it. Thank you so much.
I think this be the problem. Some people don't know how to listen.
Oh, okay.
Don't know how to be on time. I'm trying to be merciful and graceful, you know. Come on now, we all adults. You ain't gotta use the washroom if you ain't gotta go. Please take a seat. And can we get through our program? That would be very, very, very great. I'm very grateful for everyone that showed up. And for the ones who don't know me, I am activist Jasmine Smith. I'm and not only am I just an activist and an advocate with this organization, I am the loved one of wrongfully convicted survivors Lester Owens and Rico Clark.
Free them all, right on.
And they are still serving time. They're gone 14 and a half years and 17 and a half years.
Free them
And
all.
that is how I got involved in this fight and in this movement, because they found out from a defense attorney that it wasn't just them two and a few that we knew about prior to them, that it was a total at that time, 18 wrongfully convicted. And they won't ask me to come out here and find any organization that's fighting for wrongfully convicted to expose them. I didn't get to introduce myself earlier, so that's why I'm doing it now. I want to put people on the spot that did show up. We have been, outreaching for this event since January. We've reached out to every elected official. I want to shout out my alderman in the 4th Ward, Lamont Robinson, for showing up. Brian Central Lopez. Have been some of the main aldermen. It's some more that couldn't make it for other reasons. So I'm not gonna, bash everyone. But we have been outreaching since January, so they have well enough folks to show up to this because it's very important to our city. We are billions of dollars in debt. Conduct taxpayers as well. So it's a serious issue, and you've seen the list of people, of survivors that just stood up here, and it was some that didn't even make the panel. Some panel just sitting in the audience. And we have hundreds that's still sitting in prison right now fighting. So this is a serious issue, and I organized this event to be the way it is because, number one, a lot of people are not educated, on the struggle of what they have to endure in those slave ships. And then the fight of the attorneys fighting to get them out, and the loved ones standing there for all of these years, being patient and trying to understand a system that was never designed to, to help us. It's designed to do exactly what it's doing. So again, like everything that you heard, it takes a lot to fight to get our loved ones out, and it's going to take a hell of a lot more to dismantle this. This dragon, this a demon, and they don't want to let up. And that's why it's important, and I'm so glad to see so many families. I'm just so happy that a lot of y'all turned out, because when y'all leave from here, don't disappear. And it ain't me being mean, none of that, don't disappear. Because it's going to take us to get the rest of them out. And once we get some of them but I've helped a few of these survivors.
Pray your mom happy. Pray your mom. I love you too.
We continue to fight until we free them all.
Free them all.
That's very important. So I'm going to now, and I have questions, you all. I'm sorry. Questions. And so y'all got the microphone? Thank you. All right. So it's Sheila Beatty and survivor Jimmy Soto. Sheila Beatty is a law professor from Northwestern and Princeton School of Law, and also a wonderful attorney that's been fighting the Alliance for a long time.
Pray your mom.
I got your bracelet at the house. I got your bracelet. I brought your bracelet back from Africa. Do that before I bring you some back from Africa. I got you.
Richard Johnson is coming. I talked to you. You know the brother that just got out?
Yeah.
I just, I'm sorry, his and friends, and I told her I had a blessing that I wanted to give him. Should I bring it to the church? Are y'all gonna come back? She said, bring it, we'll be back.
I'll make sure I'm staying there. Right on. Yes, indeed. Right on. Right on.
I served 42 years. I was exonerated in December of 2023.
I heard a lot of people talk earlier on the torture survivors. And the victims of abuse and CPD. And they all were expressing how none of them got out without the help of someone. And that's very true because it was the same to me. I would never have been out if it wasn't for people that supported me and come to court. I know a lot of you go to court and it's a continuance, but you gotta keep up showing up. I was really happy to see every time as it was leading up to the time that I did get out, that more and more people were filling up that courtroom. They were sending phones at me to the state's attorney's office. And if it wasn't for Rochelle and her former boss, Kim Fox, I would still been in there. So I say, it may seem fruitless at times, but even showing up to court does one other thing. It keeps the lawyer that's representing your loved one
That's right. Keep
to
on
know and prompt them to know that, hey, there's people out here that care.
That's
And
right.
that makes a difference to see them. And a lot of times really showed up for me, and so I said, man, you know, we just gotta keep paying it forward. I'm a self-taught prisoner advocate, AKA jailhouse lawyer. While I was in there, I managed to get 2 full exonerations for individuals. I'll say it again, I got 2 people out.
Right on. Right on.
A lot of people sentence reductions, and I got about a dozen new trials.
Right
It
on.
wasn't easy because the system, as Sister Jasmine was saying, is designed to keep you in there. It's a system based on racism, and we do know that it's extremely hard after decades, and decade after decade, it gets even harder because the judges don't want to hear it, an attorney doesn't want to hear it. So it took a lot of moving parts to get me here, and I see people with the t-shirts on. I mean, they were showing up to my court day with free Jimmy Soto, free James Soto t-shirts. I think it made a difference. A lot of attorneys, a lot of people that do this type of work will say, oh, it doesn't, it does. It makes a difference. I heard that they were talking about the press. The press, I could never get anyone to hear my story and write an article. I was in the process of working on one with the Justice Watch. I know that the Henderson brothers and so many others, as the pattern and practice of Burge, Guevara, Zuli, and so many other detectives in Chicago was emerging, you started hearing more and more stories. Got to see more and more stories given. But as Jasmine pointed out, there's so many more people in there. And I would argue that it's more than hundreds. It's thousands of people in there. Because I've worked on a lot of other cases that are still tracking their way through there, and they're actual innocent cases that deal squarely with pattern and practice of misconduct. I think, well, I'm going to save that for when you ask me, well, what is it? Because I guess since I've been out, I've been working with Sheila at the Pritzker School of Law, Northwestern School of Law, as a paralegal. It's wonderful to have that support from her. So she was first my professor, my instructor, then she became my boss, and I'm really proud to say that she's a peer and a dear friend of mine as well. You know, because she's been there for me as I'm tracking. I want to go to law school. I want to earn a law degree and help the individuals out like me. I'm going to dedicate the rest of my life to fighting for individuals who are in there proclaiming that they're wrong with individuals.
Right on.
We society has been so indoctrinated to believe that there's this dichotomy of guilt and innocence, wrongfully convicted and not wrongfully. I say that every single person in IDOC, or for that matter, in any prison in the United States, is wrongfully convicted. We got to change the system. Other thing I've been doing is trying to work to close down prison. I was very pivotal in getting Stateville closed. I made a lot of noise. I worked with attorneys to get a court order to get it closed. But that's not, I'm not done. I want to see Logan closed. We have an independent engineering report that says at least a dozen prisons need to be closed. They're uninhabitable and they shouldn't have people in there. So when you hear about people saying step up and come out and rally and demonstrate to get Logan closed, let's do it. Let's get closed. Because the more and they can afford them to have people out early. I think that's very, very true. As part, well, I'm going to say the other part. All right, Michelle, I'll let you say it now.
Prima.
Currently teaching at the Columbia University in wrongful convictions. Secretary's office and the piece of legislation that prohibits police officers ensures that defense attorneys can show that a confession is unreliable. As you know, right now, you can only use it on a due process motion to suppress the police beat you, but we have cases like, Harold Hill, Dan Young, which was also unreliable statement, this was along with Dan Taylor, Dante Brown. And speaking of Dante Brown, if everyone, that's the person I will go to bat for that man since the day I die. So the biggest part for me with Dante Brown is actually Cooley. He really hounded me. We met at a event, and he really hounded me about, you have to look at this case, Dante Brown. Like really called me, emailed me. I'm like, let me pick up this phone call. He tells me about this case. I order his case file, and it was the worst thing I'd ever seen, and I became obsessed with it, slightly unhealthy obsessed with it. Went through a lot of drama in the press, I won't go through that, but within a year and a half, from start to finish, Dante Brown was able to come home. And now he's basically like really after this point. There was one of the most meaningful moments that I had in December of 2023 to January 2024. Shit really hit the fan in the press because I was advocating for Dante. And I went to the think tank at Stateville. They invited me over to speak, and I remember telling them that I was an emotional mess. I know you have me here to speak, but right now I need you to pour into me. I need to be uplifted in this moment, and it was one of the most
You worried about the wrong shit.
kind of interactions, engagement, just a real conversation. And so there's people like Raul Dorado, Mike Cassell, Tom Mike, people that were still advocating to come home. But one person, Eric Watkins, I met him there, and I followed up with him. I wasn't able to resentence him because they had a natural life sentence. And I told him I would not forget him. And so now I'm his attorney, and January on November 11, 2024 to Paul Elton. He just got his date that his institutional hearing will be July 1st. The en banc hearing will be August. We do our legal calls every Thursday at 10 a.m. and just pouring into that case. Someone told me, it's people, it's not necessarily extraordinary that some people get out, but it's more so extraordinary that there's so many people that are in this situation. Someone said that once in speech, and that's another situation where I go through everything that he's done. He's done 30 years, over 32 years now inside. Not one single ticket. He's actually innocent, but we'll deal with that later. But just getting him out, it just made me realize there's so many other people that are inside. So when I briefly was over the conviction review, it was very challenging my last 6 months. I went through the drawers of files, of applications that were to look at, not taken serious. It's good to see Kevin over there. Oogie, we went to college for that. We fought for that one. And it's just exciting to see that they get out, but there's so many more people, and I'm looking forward to continuing joining the fight whichever way I can.
Hi everyone, I'm Sheila Betty. I feel like Jasmine set me up. I have an ego after these two superstars, but I'm gonna try to do my best. My work is very different from Michelle and Jimmy's. I don't do criminal work. I focus on trying to hold the systems accountable after people have been harmed. They shot on both of these prisons and violent racist groups. And what that means is filing civil rights lawsuits. It means filing lawsuits to try to stop harm before it happens. And most recently, one of the things that we've been really focused on is recognizing the over 100-year history of CPD's racist violence has never stopped. Right? I don't have to tell anybody in the room that it's never stopped. And there's a significant rollback of rights that have been well established that's happening right now as we speak. An example of this is a pilot program where District 7 in Inglewood, it will no longer be felony review for people who are arrested on gun charges. And so what that means is CPD can just decide who's going to get disappeared, no checks, no balances. This is a program that's going to get rolled out, across the city. And so while we are all
hearing about
trying to
that.
bring people home, we also have the ongoing fight of ensuring that no more wrongful convictions happen. And sometimes there's this narrative that, Burge was the bad old days. It doesn't happen anymore. And the reality is these systems have not transformed in the way that is necessary to truly protect against that kind of harm. And we see the way right now, given the current political climate that we're in, that what is happening is the systems are feeling that they have even more permission to begin some of the same harms that have brought so many of us in the room today. The one other thing I'll say that's worth saying is that there are, as so many of you know, millions of dollars that are paid out by Chicago taxpayers because of lawsuits filed against the Chicago Police Department. Hundreds of millions. There's $40 million that the city of Chicago pays for private attorneys to defend the indefensible, to literally go to court on behalf of Chicago taxpayers and defend Chicago police officers who have created so much harm and put people like Jimmy behind bars for 4 decades. Imagine what that $40 million could do if it was spent in our community. Imagine what that $40 million could do if it was invested in the trauma care that we heard our last panelists talk about so beautifully. Right? So the opportunity cost of these systems have caused so much harm to the jury. It's not just in I think I'm back in the country last night. Lawyers who are benefiting from it, and there are the huge opportunity costs of what taxpayers, the burdens on taxpayers. And so some of the work that Jimmy and I are doing together in our plan is trying to unravel this and trying to get from some of the way that we created racial, violent, carceral state back in our communities.
So this is the part of the panel where we just have questions for each panelist to speak on. So I just want to just point out a few things, right? So for anyone like the balances of the money and everything that's being dished out, if you guys have not got a copy of it's up to law firms and lawyers that's been taking peek back and the group of all of the detectives, all of the wrongfully convicted, getting the data of the money, calculating the money that taxpayers are paying into this, but and calling it out because something needs to be done. But they put together a wrongful conviction litigation database for Chicago, right? So if you guys don't have a copy of this, you can reach out to me at any given time, and I can make sure I can get you guys a copy. I didn't have time to make a lot of copies, wasn't for sure how many people would be, that'll show up. So that is on hand if anybody really want to take a deep dive into the numbers and the officers from, where a lot of these wrongful numbers was calculated through. All right, now, the first question, and it could be for anyone, or if someone feels like someone asked it already, we just pass it. How important is it to have trustworthy and fair attorneys when it comes to wrongful conviction cases or, just overly sensitive cases, just bad cases in general, that they try to put on our communities?
I think it's extremely important to have attorneys that believe in someone's actual innocence. The problem is you don't have a lot of attorneys that do their work. The ones that do have these very, very heavy cases. All of us that have experienced it firsthand know that. Our loved ones know it. People in this room know it. That you go to a Lovie and Lovie Exoneration Project. You go to Jennifer Bonjean, Jennifer Blagg, and Stephen Becker, and Illinois Innocent Project, or even, there's so many, there's only a limit of the attorneys that do this type of work. And then
if you had to have a court-appointed attorney, you can even wait even longer. So it's really difficult, first, to get them to take the case, and second of all, there's just not enough people doing it. And I think that we need to encourage more attorneys to do this type of work. I, for one, am going to be one of those attorneys, but I think that, you know, I'm not the law student, but anytime I talk to the students that are doing public interest work, I always try to encourage and say, hey, you want the wrongful conviction? You know, it's a void. There is a limited amount of attorneys that do this work, and that's why you see the same ones on TV, and as you point out, Reginald, it's just like 30 seconds flag, bam, and there, okay, and then on to the next case, it happens, you know, a few months later. Yeah, I think that there needs to be more of attorneys that do that, or organizations, even if we have to go outside the state and bring people in, we have to get more people that are in there fighting those arenas in the courtroom for us, because if not, people are going to linger in their decades. That's just the reality. I don't know, you know, if anyone else has any ideas, because they have these conviction review units both at the Cook County level, and they have one now with the Attorney General. But to be honest, I think they're more in name than they are actually doing the function and doing cases.
That's one of y'all questions to ask. I'm gonna ask y'all about that.
One of the things so the smartest experience I've met in this space are the people inside. I can't tell you how many times I've phoned a friend and be like, what's this case? The people that spend time inside. So for me, I said, when we did a visit to Stateville, is how do we make the process more streamlined? You know, I developed software which actually enables people to do it in a more digital way. But the biggest thing is, like, for instance, the law library. You have to use, like, the key method. It's crazy that we use LexisNexis. You got a limited amount of time inside, so you have to know which name. I don't even know how to do it. But someone, like, you know, explained it to me, and I'm like, wow, you have to backdate things. You have to make sure you send your letters out at the exact same at the time that you meet those deadlines. You have to handwrite things and have someone else type it for you with the exact formatting so you can file it. And then, like, even in New York, when I was interviewing people, you only get 5 pieces of paper, you get to get 5 pieces of paper a week. So you have to write everything, just trying to find an attorney. And then after that, even if you pay for it, you can't even do that. Now with the new phone system, you can only buy so many minutes. Someone else can put money on your books for minutes. And so there's so many barriers just to communicate to the outside, let alone to represent yourself pro se from the inside. And so if we can't have attorneys on the outside, I'm telling you, the smartest attorneys I have met who just by formality haven't gone to law school are inside. By far. And one of the things I was saying is that I was telling some states here, like, you got dudes inside doing all this with minimal resources and still leaving. So just imagine what could happen if people had more resources, an actual robust law library, access to actually mail things on time for people to actually send out legal mail to begin with, to not have to deal with lockdown so you can't meet your deadline. It feels so impossible to represent yourself pro se that people still do it. So just imagine if they had adequate resources to fully do that, because again, I really think a lot of the power is with people inside, but even more so, people that make it on the outside, it still helps people on the inside. Like, you still do
Harriet Tubman
There are
Code.
plenty of people that do post conviction for dudes that are inside and just have an attorney to sign off on it.
You know, I'll plus one all of that, and just, I mean, Jimmy's got a better record than most attorneys that do this work, so he's incredibly modest, but in fact, that's the truth. Just on the issue of trust in attorneys, I will make this point that it is, an attorney has to earn the trust of their client, and that should not be taken for granted. It is an incredible privilege I get to represent people who trust me with the worst moments of their lives, and I have to earn that. And make your attorneys earn that. You know, don't feel lucky, right? Your attorney is there to service you. They need to earn your trust. And there are so many excellent attorneys in our community who will fight, who will throw down. And there are also some attorneys who are running business.
And you be able to tell the difference. And it doesn't matter who the attorney is, they have to earn your trust. And so don't ever lose sight of the fact that your loved one, your family is in a position of power and is empowered to make demands on your attorney.
You said to point out, like, if y'all, they throwing out some gems out there when it comes to, and this is why it's so important for me to get these lawyers up here, especially Michelle, and that took me building a relationship with her while she was a state's attorney, you know. Beat down that line, like, low-key going out frats, like, listen, we got y'all called red again, like, give me something to help, you know, these survivors that we're fighting for, but, she said that she went through drawers of these, what was it, applications, the applications.
Hundreds.
But like, this is our state's attorney's office that's supposed to do right. You know, you're supposed to really be proving people either they're innocent or either they're guilty. But instead, they might put innocent people in there while the guilty still run my streets.
Come on.
You know, so she's pointing that out, and I'm just thankful for the relationships that I'm finding and that I'm building being part of this, because it's stressful as hell. But it's good because we are blessed to people that are able to help. And that should be the most important thing on all of our hearts, being able to help someone that feel that they have no help, because some of them don't.
That part, yeah.
A lot of these guys, they call me their angels. They don't got no family to help them. They banking on me to make these relationships and get out here and get into these communities years to get them involved, because it's important. They don't deserve to be there. So that's it. It's a serious question because it's for y'all. How do police and prosecutors lack accountability in these wrongful conviction cases? Like, you can get people to the state's attorney. You know, you work in this office, there's no accountability. Why did I call microphone? I'm sorry. I know we keep going on and on, man. I know this now. But that's the question, right? That's why I got you here.
Where do I begin? I feel like the relationship with prosecutors and police officers is like a high school fraternity and sorority. You know, back when they had felony review of the detectives in the same building. And people realize also our investigators, the investigators in the stationer's office are former CPD most of the time. And then with conviction review,
Frank and Jesse James.
a lot of people that were ASAs
Go to lunch together, go to the bar.
or judges. So think about it, a lot of, the majority of judges are actually former prosecutors. And they did felony review or became very close with people that are now supervised or ASAs. How could you have accountability and no conflict when you're working right next to the same people? Even how we elect judges, it's done in a secret room of judges where they have a short list. And they pick people that they want to put on that short list. I have heard an ASA, a supervisor say, Michelle, if you turn this over, the judges are going to do this. I don't care if the judges are going to do this. The fact that you can fix your mouth to say that speaks volumes that that is not a priority. Oh, sorry. Sorry, there we go. The other big thing that I have seen is that you use the same officers, you use the same detectives, because you know things go by areas. And so when I see wrongful convictions, I have seen situations in which the officer wrongfully led to a wrongful conviction of someone who was also the brother of the victim of someone who was also wrongfully convicted. So you have one person who's wrongfully convicted for killing a person, and that person happened to be the brother of someone who was also wrongfully convicted. Everything is in the community. You have a pattern of practice. They do the same thing over and over again. Prosecutors have been exposed to it. But if you're seeing these people as buddies, friends, people that you worked with 30 years, people stay in the prosecutor's office for 30 years to get their pension. Those are people you know and you work around the clock. They become more like your family than your actual family. Are you going to expect that same person to throw you under the bus and say that was a wrongful conviction? Are you not the same person, knowing that they're gonna be a named defendant on a misconduct suit? Andrew Barker, ASA Barker has at least $250,000 in wrongful conviction misconduct suits against him. And he doesn't work, I can say that because we're gonna be fired now. But it is what it is. Like, I feel like it is almost impossible to have a conviction review unit in which it's led by individuals who have been raised in the office. Because you're not going to turn on people who are your brothers and sisters. Judges are not going to turn on the people that used to be former ASAs with. And that's just the reality of it. So whether there's going to be accountability, other models I've seen where they pull people from the outside or have former public defenders do it. But currently with the Cook County State's Attorney's Office, it is an uphill battle to overturn a case of someone who is still there. Darian Harris, his ASA is now a supervisor. Good luck with that. That was a struggle. So.
Yeah, I think she touches very much on it. But I would say this, that there's a pervasiveness of this white patriarchal racism that's in the state's attorney. It's embedded there, like we see in the CPD. There's a culture there that's been there for a while. Those that know about Cook County, read that book, or Room 503, where they talk about the very thing that she's saying. They had, at one time, on the wall of the homicide task force at the state's attorney's office, mugshots of the individuals that they were convicting, and they had all of these derogatory names that they had once they got a conviction. You know, it became at one point competitive at the expense of people's lives and futures. Where they had a series of articles come out in the Tribune in the 90s. There was one article that was called "Ends by the Pound," where they had a contest. Whoever could get the conviction, could get the most time on this, on an individual of color, they win the prize. So, you know, it reminds me almost of chattel slavery, you know, of an auction. It is. Well, yeah. But, you know, that pervasiveness is still there. It may not be like they call it, they're going to say directly these names that we're used to. That's now all coded, you know. Mutts, mopes. These are the terms that they use. You know what I'm talking about. She said someone was still there. You know, and the other thing is that you have the same state's attorneys that have been there for several different head state's attorneys, you know, going back to before Alvarez. And yes, they go to Divine, and then now our supervisors, and they're not quick to move and trying to get a conviction overturned. Like I said, it's difficult, but we gotta put pressure on them. We can't give up. The fight is still there, and we just gotta have them accountable because they have immunity, and I won't get too deep into that. But they hold qualified immunity as an ASA, so that's why they're able to have an act with impunity because they have no consequences to face.
And related to that, of course, CPD officers have qualified immunity as well. It makes it incredibly difficult to hold officers accountable after the fact, after they've committed harm. And then CPD has historically and currently turned itself inside out to ensure that there's not accountability as it operates. For example, now officers have body cams, which, you know, there's a lot of sort of controversy and data around whether that's effective at stopping police violence, but one of the ways body cameras could work to try to stop any kind of harm is if supervisors would have random reviews, audit body cam footage. They refuse to do it, right? They refuse to do it. They're not doing it. So, and that is with a lot of money that consent decree, every officer having a body cam. It's an example of how what the department exists to do is to thwart accountability at every maneuver. So that's one of the reasons why there have been these patterns and practices, because this is how the department was set up. And what we're seeing now is that these same ways to get in the way of accountability and to allow officers to operate, as we all know they do, still exist today. And that also relates to the external accountability systems like COPA, ICRA, the civilian accountability and oversight and investigative mechanisms until very recently
have essentially rubber stamped some of the most horrific things that CPD has done. And that is actually, that oversight has actually empowered so much of the harm that CPD has done.
So I'm gonna skip past this other question because we pretty much know how wrongful convictions affect the public, you know, we just witnessed the survivors and now we're witnessing what, you know, the lawyers are speaking about in regards to the lack of accountability. So my next question is going to be, what reforms, no, that ain't my question. That is a question. I got a good question, but we got people that, you know, that's sitting up here to educate people who don't know. So when we talk about the, is it the conviction integrity unit now, or is it wrong? I mean, what is it called now?
Conviction review unit.
So now we got the, like what Jim Soto said, we got the conviction review unit and that is already in place through the state's attorney's office, not an attorney general who's been in the hiding for a very long time. He's just kind of about that whole yet. But he's opened up what's that called? What they call it, the same thing?
Yeah, they call it the same thing.
The conviction review unit, which of course it doesn't make sense, but can you guys explain like what is the issues of how that system is, it's not going to work, or it hasn't worked already, like you already had this one, that's not working, now you come with this one, and it's supposed to help people, but it comes with a lot of barriers when you read up on it.
One of the things when you have the conviction review unit look at a case is they don't want you to have anything pending in court. So, for example,
Your day in court. Never mind the standing we have to demonstrate that you're the actual innocent effective assistance counsel. So I think those are one of the things that I've noticed is that you have so many people where they've got a good case, but by law, by statute, they can't even show that they have a good case, let alone get in the door and to speak to a judge.
Ooh, thank y'all. So there is going to be a Q&A after, because we have one more panel. Yeah, one more panel, which is the family, you know, babies to get out, so they're gonna have space up here too. We got that, and we're done with this panel, and if you guys can keep the memo, sorry, until the end, when we get to the Q&A, we're gonna take questions from the audience, hopefully they can stay until we get to the end. If not, catch them as they walking out the door, 'cause that's what I have to do, catch a lot of them, catch them while they leaving. But, I'm gonna call up the next, Morales gonna call up the next panel, and, not the next panel, but the next part of the event. I wanna give a round of applause for question right now while Michelle is here. That's okay. Michelle, how many questions do we have for Michelle? 2? Okay, great. No more questions for Michelle. Just 3? All right. I'm gonna bring the mic to y'all. I'm like, because I be in all this channel.
And I got time, by the way, I have nowhere to be.
These cases that are in front of the state's attorney's office, the new state's attorney's office, like mine, that was in front of Kim Fox's office. They got moved to the new state's attorney's office. How do we get about having these cases heard, or with all this evidence, with torture and photos and scars that I have? How do we get this heard and resolved? For not just my case, but many others. What was the question? My case is in front of the state's attorney's office, the new one. How do we get, like my case, and there's a few others that went right behind me, resolved? With the evidence I have, like photos and scars and witnesses and whatnot. How do we get them?
Yes, I'm very.
Is that he has
Okay.
already viewed his case. Now, he's waiting for a decision from the state's attorney. And he's had this panel investigation report to speak to him already in person. And that's been like 3 months. Yeah. Enrique Baldwin.
I mean, I'm very candid and honest when it comes to certain things. There's a specific hurdle that's going to be more empowered under this new administration, in my opinion. I'm not going to say her name, but I'm sure anyone that has gone through post-conviction knows a certain person that likes to do dismissals on the smallest little claims and really kind of make every hurdle damn near impossible to jump. I think so long as that person is in that position, we will continue to see a lot of barriers. For me, when I was there, that was the person I had to consistently go toe-to-toe with. And just, she was the primary person, and even guys inside know her first and last name because of all the stuff that she's done. And so my concern is there's no checks or balance now within the state attorney's office, or whether there's a group of people that are willing to really go up against people that have been there for decades to challenge it. I don't know the dynamics because I kind of put that life behind me and kind of protect my peace and kind of recover from the trauma of the last year. But I would, to be frank, I would say that it's gonna take a while if they get back to you. I'll be completely frank. Because right now I think in the unit there's 3 people. And 2 of them have been there for at least 20 years. I just leave it at that. And just kind of the decision making that I've seen done in that review, it tends to err on the side of justifying, oh, well, it could have been this, or it could have been that. I remember one like, oh, well, someone found a kite that said he was gonna pay someone if they took the fall for, he's like, oh, I'll give you my settlement money if you say that you did it. And I was just like, come on now. First of all, no person inside is gonna be like, hey, I did it, and then be like, for some, you don't even know if you're gonna get that. That's a decade beyond, even if you do get out, you do get your COI. So these kind of myths and kind of anecdotal stories they use to justify, oh, this person is guilty. It's like almost like they're reaffirming that this person is guilty and just doing it as a formality until someone on the outside comes in and says, no, look at this. But there's consistently this kind of cognitive dissonance where it's like, no, they have to be guilty. They have to be guilty. And they're just trying to find other ways to be like, oh, well, yeah, that's not reliable, but there's something else in this hypothetical world that means that they are still guilty. Next person.
So, I forgot what you call it, but when you say new evidence, does that mean that something that wasn't heard at all at all? Well,
yeah, not discovered all, or could be discovered. What's that one case? What was it? People being. He keeps on referencing. There's another case where they're talking about like police complaints where they could not have been discovered because of the system. Yeah, Tyler. Yes. People be Tyler. You know this. Yeah. And that's the one I actually been referencing in that, like, okay, well, you could not have discovered it given your circumstances, whether it's police complaints, the OCRs, and so forth. But I mean, it depends on the judge of what's considered newly discovered. And so that's a big. So one of them is.
You got a troll on here talking to herself.
I had one case, Brian Beals, in which we had to show that we learned that the attorney was ineffective after he was convicted. That was really hard because we had to look at the dates of the articles of ARDs and complaints. And had they happened prior to his conviction, they would have been, oh, you could have known that attorney wasn't equipped to be your attorney because of what you do. So it's really dated, where it has to be.
So within the case, the state prosecutor perjury, so and there is record showing that, like we have public record showing that what she said, the only reason why my nephew is incarcerated anyway, she said that something, a statement to the judge, right? And we know that from public record that what she said was untrue. Like, can we bring, I mean, is that,
It depends on the judge. It solely depends, and that's the thing, like, you know, when we had Judge Patron, who read a 2-hour opinion that the appellate court was basically like, this is BS. I mean, it depends on the judge. You'll have judges that are just reckless, but because they can. So it really depends on the judge.
I have a question.
All right, so I'm going to wrap it up. But Michelle will be here to ask that question directly.
Now we're here after.
Yes, she's going to be here, so I'm
Let him, yeah.
Do you got a direct question for her, Anthony?
I got it down there.
So, here's my suggestion. Sorry. Let me get the mic. Because we have to move this forward.
It'll take 2 seconds, because time is, not to be.
No, because
The time you're explaining, he could have asked the question.
what I'm saying is he has 2 questions. Can you pass me that mic, sir? Let's move forward. I have
Let us speak on it. Let us speak on it.
Michelle,
Yeah, Michelle.
thank you so very much, Miss. I want to welcome the panel. Y'all have the courage, to come up here. And also, this is real serious. But I thank you. Anyway, I want to say this. In regards to the state's attorney, I have a question. Very simple question. Simplicity. In the event, if a confession was used against you in trial, and they hid the arrested officer who beat you into the confession, he never showed up in trial, because the OPS complaint was filed against him at the time. So they don't let him come, they let his partner come in regards to covenant of evidence. Question is this. My case was in a conviction in Temple. Nancy Reducing my hat off to her. In the event, I don't know about what she did in other cases, I'm telling you, she stepped up in mine. So then, they move her out the way, all right? So I know how it feels standing in the courtroom, and you ain't got an attorney. But you have a lot of people saying justice. But see, I know how it feels when they put the mugs on you, and you can't even defend yourself in court. In regards to if you raise your hand, right? Because you don't have an attorney there, right? So you limited. And then I don't speak the legal language, all right? So that's another thing. So everything is against me. See, look, I've been on the front line for a long time, even when Frank was on Walker. I ain't just got in this fight. So everybody running. But you mean to tell me everybody did nothing wrong? See, they don't want me with, look, I'm not saying them, but in regard to certain things that occur. I really appreciate you for just having the courage to,
Thank you, brother, for speaking up I'm one of them victims.
All right, so as we wrap up tonight, we got one panel left before we go into that. I want to, the next panel is going to be families who have loved ones who are survivors of the decisions that we've been discussing, so it will be the families' opportunity to speak. Before we go into that, we want to also talk about working the alliance and doing this, all this. Slide says, please. I'm going to introduce my brother, Kobe Guillory, who is a member of the Chicago Alliance and the Chicago Teachers Union.
Respect.
Kevin, you can take that conversation to the back, please. All right.
No, I just want to say.
Thank you for finishing your conversation out back. All right. One more time for Kobe Guillory. Thank you. Well, thank you all for being here. Thank you, Lowry. Thank you, Jasmine. Thank you, everybody who helped put this together. Thank you, Myra, for keeping time. I want to just do a chart real quick before I get into what I've been asked to say. When I say free them all, I want to hear y'all say free them now. Free them all! Free them now! Free them all! Free them all! Free them all! Free them now! Free them all! Free them now! Because I want to say that because, you know, as much as we've been talking about being patient with each other, with our people, and with the movement, we have to be urgent with the enemy. We have to be urgent with these police and with this prison system. So
always
that's why right
respect.
now I've been asked to speak about
Believe it.
control
I
of the
believe
police.
it. Believe so.
The fight for community control of the police has been going on since the days of the Black Power movement back in the 60s and 70s. And the crux of it is self-determination. The reason why we have all these police running around in black and brown neighborhoods, treating them like they are an occupying force, acting the same as the Israeli occupation forces act in Gaza and the West Bank, acting the same way as the police officers acted in South Africa, where I grew up, acting the same way as oppressors have acted throughout history, is because black people and brown people do not have the power to control the public safety systems in their communities. And that is why, after the murder of Rekia Boyd by off-duty police officer Dante Servin, the Chicago Alliance got together with a bunch of activists and organizers in the community and decided to advance a legislation that would give communities the right to say who polices their community and how the community police. Now, we fought very hard, we fought very long, and a lot of y'all in this room were a part of that fight and have been a part of that fight and are going to be a part of that fight if you're not already. And here's why you're going to join this fight. Because right now in City Council, let me back up a little bit, I'm sorry. In 2021, after about 10 years of fighting, since 2012, we won the Empowering Communities for Public Safety Awards. And yeah, y'all put that in there. And that ordinance established the Community Commission for Public Safety and Accountability. It established the local district council. So that's why we have people like Dion, that's why we have people like Beth, who are working tirelessly to be the eyes and the ears of that commission, to take in what people are saying at the grassroots level and bringing that to the citywide community commission. So I'm not going to get into all the legal details, especially since we just had lawyers on the panel. I'm not a lawyer. And there is also, I believe on this table over here and on that table out there, those green flyers have some more information about the ECPS ordinance. But the main thing I want to say to you all is that in City Council right now, we have a referendum that is going to strengthen the Empowering Communities for Public Safety ordinance. This referendum is going to make the citywide commission directly elected, so that the voice of the people is directly heard and directly composes that community commission. It is also going to give the community commission power over the budget. It is going to give the community commission power over the budget. And I'm going to say that one more time. It is going to give the community commission power over the budget. Because you understand that, you know, I'm a public school teacher. Yesterday I was counting Chromebooks because half the computers that these kids are supposed to use, literally, half the computers that these kids are supposed to use are broken down. Everybody say that, everybody. And we are expecting our children to be successful, and yet money is being taken away from the school system and being given to the police. And we need the power to change that. The ordinance is in City Council right now. So over the next year, we're going to be putting pressure on our alderpersons. Byron is going to be helping us from the inside because we need that sense of urgency. We need, just like we need our people freed now, we need community control of the police now. Okay? So be on the lookout, grab a flyer, read up a bit more about the ordinance, about the fight for the referendum specifically. And I've been given about 10 minutes to do two things. And the second thing, for the second thing, I want people to come back in here. If you can hear the sound of my voice, I want you to come back in here. If you are in the other room getting yourself some food, please come back in here. If you are standing by the door, please lock the door. Please close the windows. Because this is the part of the program where we start to pay the bills, okay? Because unfortunately, we still live in a capitalist society, and that means that everything that we do costs money, right? These flyers cost money. This space, I don't think it's given to us for free. I know that food, that amazing food, which y'all should take somewhere before you leave, that food was not given to us for free. Nothing that we get is free. That beautiful office space that we have on 64th and Cottage Grove, that was not free. So, keeping in mind that we are a community-powered, a community-funded organization. We do not get funding from the government. We do not get funding from corporations. We don't have any super rich benefactors. All we have is the working class people who are in this room and in rooms like this. So I want to make a special appeal, not to sacrifice your money to us, but to invest your money into the future of the organizing that the Chicago Alliance Against Racism and Political Oppression is doing. And I also understand that we're in a working class room, so I'm not expecting people to give millions of dollars, but I do want to give a special shout out to people who give certain amounts. So let's start with $100. I want to give a special shout out to anybody who is able to donate $100 or more. I see people leaving. I told you, don't leave. Shout out to Amiris! Thank you so much.
I got my taxes back.
Yeah! Where's that tax check, y'all? Anyone else with $100? Anyone else? Shout out to Isabella. Thank you so much for supporting the work of the Chicago Alliance. Anyone else will pay $100 to donate? Shout out to, I'm sorry, Lamont Robinson. Shout out to Lamont Robinson. Thank you so much, Lamont Robinson. Walking that walk that you were supposed to walk as an elected official. So we got $300 of $300 specially donated, but also I saw the bucket going around. I do want to give a shout out to anybody who donated $50. So if you get $50, just raise your hand and get this. Shout out to Byron, shout out to Dave, shout out to Grace. I give $50 shout out to me. Shout out to Luke over there as well. Anyone else who's giving $50? And let's make sure the bucket goes into that chamber over there, because we gotta get as much money as we possibly can. Okay? And I want to say again, for the benefit of the people in the back room, if you couldn't hear my voice a second ago, we are raising funds right now at this moment. If you can give anything at this time, shout out to you, because I understand $100 might not be a whole lot for some people, but sometimes a dollar is all you have. Like before yesterday, I got paid yesterday, I had about 25 cents in my bank account. But we're a working class room, and we do what we have to do to keep this movement afloat. With that being said, I just wanted to end with a different chant. I just want y'all to repeat after me, because this is how we win. Like Frank said, like so many others on the panel have said, our unity, our solidarity with each other, with the diverse communities, with the diverse groups of people that we have here, that is how we win. So I want y'all to repeat after me. The people united will never be defeated.
The people united will never be defeated.
You can be a lot louder than that, though. The people united will never be defeated.
The people united will never be defeated.
El pueblo unido jamás será right, thank you.
I don't know if I said that right.
All right, y'all, give up my brother, Coleman Hillary. One thing I'm gonna ask, as we bring up the families to come to the stage, Annette, come on up, Nora, come on up, Andrew, come on up. If anybody's got eyes on Johnny, ask her to come on up. And we're also gonna ask the folks to consolidate, maybe more towards the center, so we can all see each other a little bit more easily. If you're on the wings, we're gonna ask you to come on in closer to the middle, since we've lost some bodies. If y'all mind, come on up, just so the people who are speaking can feel like they're talking, to a more intimate crowd of folks. I think that would be helpful for them to get this conversation on the road. But outside of that, let's give it up for our families, y'all. Of course, but as many folks here have experienced as well, having a loved one be locked up, on the inside is it's another way of also being locked up yourself, the way that it derails your entire life, to support them, to continue to develop y'all relationships and grow, and all the things that happen from family to kids to passing, all those kind of things. We know it's an incredibly difficult journey, but again, we are here today not only to talk about the sad things, but to talk about how we transform that sadness, that anger into action, because we want to win. We want to get our people out. Ain't that right, y'all?
That's right.
And so we have here a panel of incredible fighters who've been in this as long as any of these other survivors who spoke earlier today. And so we're going to start off by allowing them to introduce themselves and say a little bit about their loved ones in their cases.
Hello, everyone. I just want to stand up for this one. And I'm going to take my jacket off because I want you to see the person that I'm actually for. Thank you. All right, I'm here. I'm advocating for my best friend, Elias Gomez. My best friend, who is a father, son, grandfather of two beautiful babies, doesn't deserve this. Elias Gomez, 154-8845, that's his inmate number, has been incarcerated for the past 29 years. May 6 makes 30 years wrongfully convicted. Has been living under the shadow of an unjust conviction since 1995. This case is not just about Elias, it's about justice, fairness, and the integrity of our legal system in Chicago. Elias was convicted based on evidence presented by police officers. Daniel McQueen, you guys know him. John Bird's Midnight Crew. Presented by police officers who were later found guilty of corruption. Despite this revelation, no steps have been taken to reevaluate this case, question the validity of evidence used against him. This corruption within the police department during the period, as well as documented, a significant number of convictions have already been overturned. Due to similar circumstances, Elias is not alone in this plight. There are countless others who continue to suffer because their cases were mishandled or manipulated. Enforcement agencies. You guys, this hits hard when it's your family, when it's your husband, when it's your best friend, when it's your son. We have brothers and sisters that are out there. This hits hard. You know what, Cephas? I thank you guys. Thank you for being there. Thank you, because you know what? Today, he has hope. He has hope, and he hears you guys. He hears voices that are out there calling his name, calling those that are wrongfully convicted. Free them all.
Free them all.
We can't stop, guys. We gotta fight. This is our families, our brothers and sisters, nieces and nephews. This generation, we need to save them. I have a son who is 30 years old, and thank God he's a retired military. But you know what? There's someone else's child out there lost. We need to save them. Elias has been in there. He didn't know where to go. He didn't know who to turn to. But I thank God because we have a God who is powerful, who is manifesting in these court systems. These police officers that have been hiding. You know what? They can't hide anymore. They got Johnny Guevara, is that his name? Daniel McQueen is next. All these midnight crew officers that have been corrupt for so many years in the police district, 14th district, 25th district, 11th district. We need to fight and not give up. Elias is not alone. Your husband, your brother, your son, your nephew, they're not alone. Let's think about these women that are in there as well. It's not only the men. There are women in there that have been wrongfully convicted. And we have to continue to fight. This doesn't stop here. If it wasn't for this group, I would be lost. I wouldn't know what to do. But ever since you guys came into my life, I thank you guys because there's hope today. Today we can't give up. The state's attorney, that new state's attorney that we have, you know what? We still have to fight. She needs to hear our voice. Our loved ones need to come home. Please help us.
That's exactly right. We are all.
The people's pain reflects.
God is able.
The people's pain reflects.
We're serving time. Right with them. I probably lost about 25 pounds recently. This is so tiring. I've been to court for my nephew for about 14 years. Okay? My whole family, I'm the youngest of 11. I have 2 sisters left. And my whole family has went home. And Douglas Livingston, my nephew, and I didn't even get the opportunity to go and show his last respects to his family, to my mom, to his mother. He was wrongfully taken from Minnesota, arrested by Brian P. Forberg. He's a survivor of Brian P. Forberg. I'm going to keep saying these names, but we need to know the names of the corrupt detectives, the judges, all of them, the attorneys, all of them. Brian P. Forberg illegally went to Minnesota, where my nephew was, trying to give my sister a kidney. He illegally arrested him, brought him to Chicago. My sister passed. They did not even allow my nephew to go with my sister's funeral.
Shame.
My nephew has been in prison for about 14 years now. Before that, he was in prison for 8 years. Wrongfully convicted. What a life. Now, his son was murdered last year. You think they let him? We paid the money for my nephew to go to his funeral. They did not allow my nephew to pay his respects to his only son.
Shame.
Okay, so we are all serving this time with our loved ones. Tired. I have 4 jobs. Right? I have 4 jobs right now, just trying to make it. Okay? And then you show up in court, and these disgusting judges, right? They act like they are holier than thou and just don't even care and don't want to hear anything. It's like the detective has been proven to be corrupt. They don't care. Okay? I am so grateful to the Lions, Chicago Lions, and I'm so grateful to see this. My nephew is really fighting for his life. I'm so grateful to him that he has brought me to, you know, to this knowledge about being an activist. You know, I can say that yes, I am an activist, right? I always care about so many people. That's just me, you know, I'm a caring person. So many of the guys they left, let's go away about that. I'm sorry, I know you have something to do. I do too. Right now I should be teaching, right? But I'm in the court for them. Okay, I call them now, and they don't even call me back. They don't call me. know, and it's just because I care. We need everyone to care, okay? We're preaching to the preacher. It almost feels like right now, everybody here, they are doing the work. They got their foot to the pavement. We need to reach, teach, and touch people who haven't heard about this. I live in the northern suburbs, and when I say, just mention some of these cases, they can't believe it. They're like, what? That goes on? What? So we really need to get out to other communities who haven't heard about this. But like I said, my nephew brought it to my attention, Seafish Jasmine, then I met Mariah and all of you, and I'm just so grateful to know all of you. And I'm here for you. I'm glad that you're here for me. Thank you.
I'm Johnny Hayes. I'm fighting for my husband who's been there 34 years. I have a sister that's died 45 years and 2 nephews. Our word is that everybody needs to learn how to love each other and fall back and love each other. Because if we don't love each other and love ourselves enough to fight for them, my husband tells me all the time that people don't care. People don't care about me sitting here for 34 years for something I didn't do. I was 17 years old. He was 17 when he got locked up. They came and got him. They told him they would arrest him for one thing. He ended up with 3 murders and after 72 hours of them beating him, having him handcuffed. Shame. But one thing I can say about him, he fights. He's been fighting, he helped other people fight in there. And his mental, he tried to stay strong, but one thing that we gotta know, being in there, and they don't talk about it. They might mention it 1 time, 2 times, oh, they didn't give us water, but they make it seem like it's nothing. But I've been there. I just been there and seen them cut the lights off of them, take the water from them, take food, they can't eat. It's horrible. But we gotta fight for them. Because if we don't fight for them, they don't have nobody. And the politicians, oh yeah, we'll help. Some of them tell you they'll help you, string you along. I even had one that a clemency letter for him, right? I called him today, and guess what? Oh, I did that because, it was election time. So guess what? We gotta fight and help each other and build each other up. We gotta build each other. Who wants their loved one, their brother, their sister, their husband, their wife, their cousins to sit there for no reason? That doesn't make sense at all. We got to come together and be together. And this happened on the north side, so it wasn't Forward and all of them. It was Butera. He was on the north side. He had other officers. It was terrible. I didn't got caught in the middle of it when I was 21. My son. They threw me on the ground, everything, called me a black bee. Shame. If it wasn't for my parents being active, going to court, bringing, my father was a minister. My father won all his ministers. They dropped the whole case. It's been happening. That was in 91. So it's not stopping. We got to learn how to help each other, not walk away. We see the police messing with somebody, stand there. I follow them. I put my recorder. And I've been doing that since they came out with me. So we got to be there and help each other, okay?
jail car by 5. 489 was arrested and illegally kidnapped in 2009. He was wrongfully convicted and accused of first-degree murder that he did not commit in 2011. But let's be clear, he's not a number. The 3rd District Police Department used false evidence stating he had 3 GSR particles on his left hand, when in fact he's right-handed. I wanted to show y'all a picture before I continue. So my brother sent this to me years ago. He used to always say I neglected him. April 20th will be 16 years. So I always told him that he never left my heart, mind, and prayers, but I was busy with life, having kids, getting married, and not really paying attention to what jail or prison really was. So, of course, out of many letters, he sent this with a letter.
Appreciate you as well, brother.
And I got the letter, I read it, and I just put it to the side. It took for years afterwards for me to have a spiritual awakening, for God to really give me this assignment and tell me to do this. And a lot of supernatural things started happening. And the first was running into the Chicago Alliance. So, in the midst of me doing the work with the Chicago Alliance, I was looking for some paperwork, and I came back across these pictures. This is him and my sister when they was babies, and this is him but not long ago. He wrote on the back of the picture right-handed. So he's been pleading for help for all these years, and God answered his prayers for me. So, the 3rd District Police Department, you stated the GSR particles, okay. The GSR machine malfunctioned when they ran the testing. They reran it 10 more times, which I believe was illegal. More facts. My brother's trial lawyer admitted at the evidentiary hearing, which he was under oath, that he did nothing. No investigation. No coming to see my brother to discuss his case with him. No writing or taking notes. No motions. Never found an answer to the discovery. He admitted that my brother's files get damaged by a flood in his basement. Speaking and talking to my brother in the bullpen around other inmates. Not lawyer-client privilege. So how did my brother Michael Minifield receive a fair trial with these mishaps? All against the law. And the judge heard and seen all of this, and the lawyer wasn't penalized for none of it. Not to mention the victim admitted years later to lying and saying he didn't see anything. He was 13 years older than my brother and said he went to high school with him. This admission is on his transcript, a jailhouse recording. Also, the co-defendant admitted lying as well. The weapon, vehicle, and motive also use now unconstitutional evidence at his trial. The co-defendant's cell phone tower pings. My brother Michael Minifield has the evidence. My brother Michael lawyer has the evidence. Judge Vincent M. Gahn is who sentenced my brother Michael. He gave Jason Van Dyke 81 months, which he